This is VOA News. I'm Tommy McNeil. Michael Cohen is likening his former boss, Donald Trump, to a mobster. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani reports.
Cohen says Donald Trump demanded blind loyalty, and some, like Cohen, stupidly gave it.
I regret the day I said yes to Mr. Trump.
Saying Trump insisted they lie on his behalf, even if it meant breaking the law, without actually issuing the order.
He speaks in a code, and I understand the code because I've been around him for a decade.
How many times did Mr. Trump asked you to threaten an individual or entity on his behalf?
Cohen told Congresswoman Jackie Speer quite a few.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un hold one-on-one talks. AP correspondent Tim McGuire.
At the start of the second day of their nuclear summit in Hanoi, President Trump praised North Korea's Kim Jong-un and their talks.
There are a lot of great ideas being thrown about. I think very importantly, the relationship is, just very strong. And when you have a good relationship, a lot of good things happen.
Trump also said he's in no rush to make the right deal. Kim noted that the whole world was watching, suggesting that for some, the image of the two sitting side by side must resemble a fantasy movie. I'm Tim McGuire.
And the democratically controlled House of Representatives passed a new measure Wednesday, expanding background checks to include gun shows and Internet sales. Their intent Thursday is to push a bill to conduct a background check from just a few minutes, in some cases, to just 10 days. The two bills are likely to face stronger opposition in the Republican-controlled Senate, where opponents say it will do nothing more from stopping a criminal from getting a weapon. This is VOA News. An escalation of conflict between rivals Pakistan and India after Pakistan's armed forces said they shot down 2 Indian jets after the warplanes crossed the disputed border of Kashmir. Reuters' Michelle Hennessy elaborates.
India's foreign ministry said Indian planes were engaged with Pakistani aircraft and that they lost 1 MiG-21 fighter, with a pilot missing in action. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan urged dialogue with India, saying both sides can't afford a miscalculation with weapons. Kashmir lies at the heart of decades of hostility between India and Pakistan. Both rule parts of the territory while claiming it all as their own. The two countries have fought 3 wars since 1947, and world powers are urging restraint between the two nuclear-armed rivals. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he spoke to both foreign ministers on Tuesday. China, the European Union and New Zealand have also voiced concern over growing hostility between the two sides.
That's Reuters' Michelle Hennessy reporting. White House senior advisor Jared Kushner met Tuesday with the Saudi Crown Prince, the first time they met since the October killing of U.S.-based Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The White House said in a statement the two discussed a variety of topics in Riyadh, including economic investment in the Middle East and efforts to bring peace to the region. Kushner, President Donald Trump's son-in-law, is on a 7-day trip to the Middle East, visiting U.S. allied Gulf Arab states, along with the U.S. Middle East envoy Jason Greenblatt and the U.S. Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook. A Coast Guard officer accused of being a white supremacist has been indicted. We get more from AP correspondent Mike Gracia.
A U.S. Coast Guard officer who worked at Coast Guard headquarters in Washington has been indicted by a federal grand jury on drug and firearms charges. 49-year-old Christopher Paul Hassan has been in federal custody since February 15th. The indictment includes charges of illegal possession of firearms by a drug addict and unlawful user and illegal possession of firearm silencers. According to prosecutors, investigators found 15 firearms, including 7 rifles and over 1,000 rounds of ammunition in a search of Hassan's apartment in Silver Spring, Maryland. In a court filing, prosecutors said Hassan has espoused extremist views for years. Mike Gracia, Washington.
The United States and a number of other nations walked out of the United Nations Conference on Disarmament in Geneva, Switzerland Wednesday as a representative of Venezuela's embattled President Nicolas Maduro got ready to speak. The U.S. ambassador to the event, Robert Wood, told reporters the walkout was meant to indicate that the Maduro government has no moral or political legitimacy. He called Maduro's rule unacceptable and said the spokesman's presence was a disgrace to the chamber. I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.